Hello, everyone. We're here from MET AMS. I am with the wonderful AshleyDCan. Ashley, before we get going, maybe you want to introduce yourself a little bit, just give the audience an idea of who you are.
My name is AshleyDCan. I have been in the space since about 2021. I started with crypto with Dogecoin. That was my very first cryptocurrency. I got super excited about the space. So then I ended up getting really into Twitter, or now X, I guess. And then I started kind of picking up traction. I started making memes and content. And now I'm a full-time content creator and full-time employed in Web3.
Love it. And we love your content.
Thank you.
I'm really curious about your journey in, what inspired you to get into the space? You say you kind of came in via the crypto route, but tell me a bit more about your journey really into content creation.
Well, I started with memes and I didn't really, focus on the very seriousness of it. I was not a very serious person. I just made a lot of jokes and just very inappropriate things as well. Oh, but then I started watching other content creators, and K Money is specifically one of them that I really enjoyed watching. It was a lot of fun. His memes were really funny, video wise. And I thought I always wanted to go in a video direction, but I didn't have, the courage to, because I've always been kind of like a withdrawn kind of person, very
Okay.
socially anxious.
Like an introvert.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I've always been I call myself an introverted extrovert. So I love being around people, but it drains me. So I get really socially anxious about it. But this is really that's what made me really interested in being in the space and content creation as a whole, because I felt like it brought me out of my shell, that made me who I really am, instead of I guess a fly on the wall like I used to be.
Yeah. Well, we were talking a moment ago about
Mhm.
the way that you create content,
Yeah.
and you're always thinking about it. You're always planning it. You're always keeping in touch with the trends and what's going on. Do you ever, experience creative blocks?
Oh gosh. Yes, yes. So there's been some times where and I spoke about this earlier in our uh
Our panel.
yes. And I was mentioning about burnout, and mentally sometimes it can take a toll. If you're used to a certain performance indicator, for example, engagement, if you get a number of likes or comments or people reaching out to you talking about your content, it can feel really good. But then
Yeah.
in the moment, it's not always going to happen. You're not always going to be number one. So when you go below what you normally are used to, it can feel really mentally frustrating
Mhm.
and exhausting and a little depressing sometimes.
How do you overcome it then? What's your method? What do you do for yourself so that you wake up and you're like, okay, I'm refreshed. I feel like looking at this timeline, even though it could be
Mhm.
like a
Yeah.
dog's dinner of
Yeah.
a timeline. I love the idea that you come into it with a fresh perspective and you want to create something fun,
Mhm.
entertaining. What's your process? How do you get in the zone to do that?
I just focus on what I like, because you can't always if I focus on what everyone else is gonna like, then it hurts me more. And
Okay.
so I go back to the beginning. I go back to what really brought me in the space, and that's humor. And I try to make myself laugh. I try to post funny stuff. I try to write it out and say, okay, I'm gonna storyboard, the skit, or I'm gonna storyboard these tweets, or
Yeah.
whatever. And then I really like to take time offline. Usually I will, after my day ends, I will put my phone away and
Okay.
just spend time with my husband and
Completely switch off.
yeah,
See,
because
that's really important, right?
yeah, most people don't. In the space, it's 12 to 16 hours a day
Yeah.
until the next day. And you can't do it because your brain will literally melt.
I love it. Well, I'm really grateful for your time. I've got one final question
All
for
right.
you. And that is, we're here because I know we love content creation, we love the space, but I'm going to really zone into NFTs, and particularly
Oh,
either PFPs or artworks.
yeah.
What's the one NFT you would never part with?
My Claynosaur,
Okay.
I worked with the team, I did some content with them, and, I went to their party recently. They did, a trailer for their
They've got a lot
animation.
coming up, right?
Yeah, and the team is just so amazing and wonderful. They're great people. I've had an opportunity to speak with them at length, And I feel like regardless of whether price go up or price go down,
Yeah.
they're literally like, I feel like they're really on the cusp of like being the next Pixar.
Amazing.
And yeah, I just have a lot of love. So I feel like they're going to be around for the long haul.
So cool. What are you doing for the rest of the day? You're in Amsterdam. What's the plan?
I'm going to be here for a little while. Then I'm going to go back to Solana Breakpoint.
Yep.
And I'm going to be, I guess, running around like crazy, going to side events, going to a Rove event later today.
Cool.
And yeah, I'm just going to be enjoying Amsterdam the rest of the trip.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for your time and take care.
Thank you.